Okay, step number 13. We are going to assemble and install the toroids, or tie rods, or tomato, your choice on how you pronounce it. But this is the finished product, and we'll guide you through how we came about that. You're going to use, there's 4 toroids in there, and we're going to use the 2 shorter ones, and you can match them up to size on your manual. The other ones you can see are longer, so we're going to use the 2 shorter ones. This is a 1-to-1 drawing here, so once we are finished, we want to set these down, and we want to look at the inside of the cups, and we want to match those up to the inside of the cup on the drawing and make sure that they are the same distance apart. If you have a caliper and would like to use that, they are 40.5 millimeter from inside to inside. I find that the manual works just as well, however, feel free. One thing that you have to know about a tie rod or a toroid is that the threads are opposite. You have a left-handed thread and a right-handed thread on here, so you need to keep that in mind as you're screwing the pieces and parts together. These right here are the AX31186-8. There are a couple different sizes, so make sure that you do grab 4 of the -8. If you would like to, if you find that they're too difficult to screw in, you can put a little bit of the grease that you got left over. Just put a very little bit amount onto the threads. However, I did not have to do that with these. They go on fairly easily. So we're going to just screw them in like so. If you need to, you can get a small pair of pliers to hold them as you screw it in. Go ahead and put one on and put the second one on, and then you can hold it up. Oh, look at that. I'm already on too much. You can see that I put it on too far, so we're going to back it off. Still just a little bit too short. I'm going to back it off a little bit more. You do want to keep in mind that you want the threads to be even, or very close to even. They don't have to be perfectly even, but you don't want a whole bunch of thread left on one side and none left on the other. I'm going to go ahead and match those up, and there we go. We're perfect. Now we're going to take the part number AX80018-1s, and they're all on a whole big tree, but there are a couple different sizes, so make sure that you grab 4 of the -1s. And as we're building this, as you can see by the manual, you want the ends on here to be in the same direction, just like so. Let's go ahead and take one of these, and you'll see one side has a flange and one side is flat. You're going to put the flat side in, just give it a little snap in. If they're too tight, you can put it down on the table, and you can put that on and push down. These are made of plastic. There are upgrades that are made out of metal, which are pretty cool. I'll probably end up switching over to the metal balls on here at some point, but not right now. Alright, let's take a look at the toroids here again, and what I want to show you here is that there's a line. Let's bring these up close. There's a line on here. Okay? And basically what that does is it dictates and shows you where the left hand thread is. When you put these onto a vehicle, a lot of people always say, okay, let's take those lines and put them to the outside, or take the lines and put them to the inside. But that's not what you want to do. You want to make sure that all the tie rods on your entire vehicle are all pointed in one direction. Okay? In this case, they're all pointed in this direction. So what that does is when you go to make adjustments on your car with a wrench, you don't have to try to figure out which way makes them longer or which way makes them shorter as you're adjusting them. If you point all the lines in the same direction, it doesn't matter if they're pointing left or to the right, make sure they're all pointed in the same direction. That way, when you're adjusting your tie rods, you'll always know that, going towards the back is going to either open them up, or going towards the front is going to close them or make them shorter. So you choose which direction you want, and you just stick with it through your entire build, and it'll make your life much, much easier on the other end. Okay, so now that we have that sorted out, we are going to take the tie rod and one of our little button head screws, whoops, getting off camera here, one of our little button head screws, and we are going to insert this onto the outer portion here. You'll see that there are two holes here. Let me hold this up. You can see that there's two holes in there. We are going to put these by following the direction in the outer hole. So choose the direction, whichever way you want your line to go. We're going to slide this down inside this area here and line it up and put the screw in from the front. And at that point, we'll tighten it up and it just threads into the plastic. Go ahead and thread that in. You're going to screw it in just till the screw touches. Just like that. And it should go freely. Okay. Now we are going to line this up. On the bottom, you're going to see 4 holes here. Okay. The tie rod is going to go to the back, not the front, but to the back. And we will take again one of our button head screws, and per the direction, we are going to put this in the bottom outside. Okay? I'm going to take the tie rod and slide it over the screw in the back, and take a nylock nut and securely fasten it from the back. We use our little multi-tool to hold it and tighten it up. You don't want to crush this, you just want to tighten it up till it touches. Okay, now that I've made my first mistake, let's go ahead and take the screw back out. What I did not do at this point is to insert the dog bone into the cup. Let's get that back in, take this tie rod off, let's extend the A-arm and get our dog bone into the cup. Everything properly back together here. My bearing fell out. Now we can go ahead and put the unit back together, but make sure that your dog bone is properly inserted. And voila, we have now installed our front toroid. Let's go ahead and install the other side. Again, let's take a look, and our line here is pointing in this direction, so we're going to take this one, make sure our line is pointing in that direction. We are going to go to the outside hole here, insert our screw, try to get everything lined up here, screw it in. These are basically the tie rods here, adjust the camber of your wheels. So when we put them on, we can adjust the angle of the wheel in this direction. And it's an important part of setup. Okay, so we're going to insert our dog bone. Put the tie rod through. Put our nylock nut into our little multi-tool. And tighten it up. You don't want to crush the little plastic ball because it will bind. You just want to put this on until it all touches. Just like so. Okay, so now, again, we just want to make sure that everything functions properly and is loose and not binding up. And that's how it should look at this point. Pretty soon we're going to have to switch to a wider angle on the camera because pieces and parts are starting to get larger. But that's how it should all look. Okay, nothing binding. And we're all good.